is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Weapon Collective. My name's Jeff and I'm back down in the Gak Cave. It has been a long time since I've filmed a video down here, and there is a reason for that. So behind the camera, I have been working on a new filming location for doing different things. You will see that in the future. It's not quite done. I've been tearing this entire room apart with the exception of this gun wall and rearranging things, moving stuff around. And so you will see more of the Gak Cave in the future and a different filming location. I'm going to be doing lives and all that kind of stuff from over there. Once that's done, I will start doing that. But for today, I wanted to share a gun with you guys. I just cleared off enough of the junk that I have spread out across this room to film a video, because we are looking at the Covert X Miller. This is a new gun from Miller Precision, and this is the Covert version. So Covert X Miller, and like Covert does, they get the special edition. If you were to buy this gun from anywhere else, you are buying a 5-inch compensated gun. If you get the Covert X Miller, you know they had to go the extra mile, and you are getting a comped and ported pistol. Very cool, but there is one little detail to that. This is a very early production model, but it is not engraved with Covert X Miller. You'll see right up here, it says Ranger 9X, and on this side has the Miller logo. So the Covert X Millers will not have those. That will be engraved Covert X Miller, and I'm a little bit torn. Part of me wants that Covert X Miller engraving, but there'll be very few of these, maybe 5, maybe 6 of these in existence. So very happy to have this one. And just upside downside to both versions. But it is a very cool gun. Got some interesting stuff going on. But before we take a peek under the hood of this, I did just want to go over how I first came to know Miller Precision. And that would be through their grips. This gun is basically an evolution of the grip. They first started building this grip, and then, like, what the hell, let's build an entire gun around this grip. So that's how this gun came to be. And I first came to know Miller from the grip on guns from Vulcan Machine Works, such as the Vulcan Machine Works 11 and guns like the Vulcan Machine Works Staccato XL. This one has their Ignis porting on it as well. And I've always been a fan of the Miller grip, and their grip, just like the rest of this gun, as you will see, is different from traditional 2011 parts. So this grip obviously is not using a traditional 2011 mag release. This one is actually more like a Glock when you look at it inside. Just has that one little wire going up that interfaces with the mag release. Get a screwdriver in there, pop it out, and then you can take the mag release out and flip it around to the right side of the pistol if you're left-handed. And I think that's cool, trying to do things differently. As you'll see, they did that all the way through this gun. But I just like a new spin on same old thing. And they did that with this grip. They did that with this gun. The grip is very comfortable. Gun feels great. And I'm excited to show you what they did, because this is not really a 2011 anymore. It is and it isn't. It's like a, you know, they went from 1911 to 2011. This is kind of a 2111. I don't know what you'd call it, but it is a hybrid in the porting, in the comp, and it is a hybrid in the mechanical aspect of how this gun runs. So let's take a look at this thing. Best way to do that is going to go to tabletop. So let's do it. Okay, now I don't have the greatest tabletop camera setup on YouTube, that's for sure. Part of that will be what's going on behind the camera. I'm hoping to make a better tabletop filming location. But this is a closer look at the Covert X Miller. Now, before I get into tearing it down, I did just want to go over the gun fully assembled, and you'll probably have a better view from this position. So first off, you get the grip with this magwell, and this magwell, they have 3, this is their carry version. So I did get the other two, they're on the way to me now. Next one from here is the competition magwell. That's a little bigger. And then they have the funnel magwell, which is huge, or it looks huge. I'm just judging by what I'm seeing online. But this one, I'm probably going to be running the mid-size, the competition. I like a big magwell. I don't like it extra huge magwell, but I do like a larger magwell than this. But they make several, so no big deal. It is a full ambi gun. You can see slide stops on both sides. Similar to the Staccato HD and the SIG P211, except this one has a Series 70 trigger. Both those are running Series 80. So this is the only gun that I'm aware of that has full ambi and is also running a Series 70 trigger. Now, another very cool thing about this gun is all of these parts are made in-house, with the exception of a couple. And the first I'll mention are the hammer strut, the sear, and the disco. They are not making those in-house, but talking to Houston over at Miller Precision, they will be. So those parts will eventually be made in-house. Now, they do not make their own springs, but they do make their own screws. So the only parts on this pistol that aren't made in-house by Miller Precision, once again, the hammer strut, the sear, and the disco, but those are going to be. And then the front sight. They don't make the front sight, and you'll see I removed the front sight on mine, but if you like a front sight, you're welcome to leave it there. A little Loctite is what I'd suggest, and I think they're getting a longer screw from, because this functions like a Glock front sight, where it comes up, the screw comes up from the bottom, and then the threads are in the actual front sight, and it just locks in place right here. Now, before I took mine off, I was just telling my cameraman Blake when we were filming the range video of this, the first part. I do have a range video that will be coming out. It's not done filming it yet, but I digress. Back to the front sight, I was telling Blake, you know, the only thing I would change about this gun is I would delete the front sight. And then a couple mags later, it's loose, and I just took the entire thing off. But that is just my preference. If you like your front sight, you are more than welcome to leave it. And then everything else they make in-house, which I think is pretty cool. You can really you have a lot of control over your quality if you are manufacturing things yourself. They may, including the trigger. So let's look at the trigger on this thing, because that is one point that I will bring up. When I got this gun out of the box, the trigger was breaking somewhere around between 3 and 3.5, which that's a little heavy for me, especially with the Series 70. I prefer closer to 2, so I did make some adjustments, and now it's breaking just over 2 pounds. And the over travel, there was too much over travel, which I adjusted that as well, and now it feels just right. I need to get it out on the range and live fire test it, but for now it feels very good. This may not be the best angle to show you the trigger, but let's try. So a little bit of take up, very clearly defined wall, and just breaking just perfect. And then nice reset. So dry fire, I'm very happy with the trigger right now, but once again, gonna have to prove that through live fire. But it's vastly better for me and my preference than when I got it out of the box. Let's take a peek under the hood of this thing, and I will show you what is so special, so different, so unique about this Covert X Miller. I have a little Allen key here because just like the Staccato HD series and the SIG P211, you have to access this little protrusion coming out of the right side slide stop. And interesting, you can see where the half moon lines up on this. It's almost, I mean, just a little bit of a travel right there. It's usually further up here next to the slide stop recess. To unlock this thing, you just come back just a hair, which is different, and then come through over here. If you get it lined up right, anyway, pop that out, and off comes the slide. Now, it is a little dirty. I did shoot this thing, as I mentioned, but bear with me. You can't see it on camera, but as I was talking about the mag release, there is just a little wire retainer, like a Glock, right down in here. Just can't see it. But that just interfaces with the mag release. It's like a wire spring that it's pushing against, and you just get a little screwdriver, pop that thing back, and then you can swap the mag release to the right side of the pistol grip if you are so inclined. Now, the thumb safeties, they are straight 2011 parts. The main spring housing, the beaver tail, the hammer, all that stuff is just your everyday average 2011 parts. But then you get to the slide, barrel, and spring, and this is where you really start seeing a difference. So you flip it over, and what is that? That is not a 2011 guide rod and recoil spring. It is not. This is much more like a Glock, and very interesting. So the other part is take this out, then you got to take the comp off because it does not come out through the front of the gun. This comes out through the back, and as you will see, the barrel looks different as well. So this is more like a Browning high power, how it functions, and rather than a 2011, which is using the barrel link. This is just coming up on this bar here when the slide stops in there, and that is causing it to pivot. So interesting. And I like seeing people put a new spin on the platform, but the question is always going to be, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, or what's the longevity? But we know that the Browning high power is a proven system as well, so it'll be interesting to see how this works over a long term. And once again, I just think trying something different is always cool. That is one of the main differences there. And then we get to the slide, and you'll see it is going with an external extractor, so you're not going to have to tune your extractor. But once you get to the back with the firing pin stop, firing pin, that stuff's all the same. I'm not going to break that down today, but same as the typical 2011. And really, other than up in the compensator, the front sight, and how you access that, they have a little recess access cut that you can get in there to tighten down the bottom of that screw on your front sight like a Glock. That is how that functions, and everything else for the most part is still 2011 parts. Now they do make their own trigger, the trigger bow, trigger shoe, everything is made at Miller, but that is still your typical traditional 2011 trigger bow, trigger shoe, and then the main spring housing, the sear spring, the disconnector, hammer, all that stuff is just 2011 parts as well. I did just take this sear spring out and tweak the spring to get the break weight where I wanted. And that's really the gun taken apart, disassembled, and I think it's a very cool little new take on the platform. So let's put it back together. Feels weird to be doing it this way, that's for sure. Let's screw this thing back on first. That goes right back on. Right like that. That slides on, and then the easiest way I've found to do this is just pinching the back, really. Just Just grab that, get it lined up. My barrel wants to drop, but get him lined up. And back in business. So that is all those little intricacies, unique features of this Covert X Miller. Okay, so that is a peek at the new Covert X Miller, taking a closer look at all the little parts in this thing that make it very unique, something totally different what's currently out there. And one thing that I did forget to mention, with Miller making all their own parts for this gun, or the vast majority of them, they are machining these things to such a level that they are basically plug and play. For instance, if they were to come out with a special edition slide, you could just order it, show up, and drop it right on the gun. Things like that that don't require fitment. We're not used to that in the 2011 world, and it is pretty cool. You need a new barrel, drop the barrel in, done. And you rarely ever see that. Jacob Gray sent me a barrel for my TWC9 in the upgrade to the black, able to do that. So I think Jacob Gray and Miller may be the only companies out there that are really currently doing that. Adult Legos, it is very convenient and just rare in the 2011 world. The only part on this that does or could require some slight fitment would be the beaver tail. And other than that, everything else is just plug and play. Makes it very convenient, very nice. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the Miller. I hope this gun does well. I also have the range video that will be coming out on this. I have another day of filming that I still have to do, so stay tuned for that. That will be my first impressions of this gun. I don't want to spill the beans here, so that will come out and I'll give you my thought process on how the gun actually performs. Today's more of a tabletop version of what makes this gun unique and a close-up inspection of the pistol. Also, they are coming out with several versions of this gun. So they have the 5-inch comped imported if you get the Covert X Miller. If you get it anywhere else, it's just a comped gun, but it's going to be the Ranger 9X. And then they have the 4.4-inch version and the 4-inch carry version. I've seen pictures. They look very cool, but I haven't had hands on with any of those. But keep your eye out. They're going to be out there very soon, and they should be similar but different. So very cool, and you'll see this in that video I'm releasing coming up. And stay tuned. I think this thing is going to be making quite a splash. Other than that, I will also have a Covert X RCD, the Mod 2, coming out. I'll have a range video on that, and I'm going to do a tabletop on that. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. That's a cool gun as well. So please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I'm Jeff for the Weapon Collective, reminding you, keep your weapons collected and keep collecting your weapons. I'll catch you next time.